Pembroke County Council order, May 20th, 2026.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, Treasurer, call the roll, please.
Council President Rector Heidi.
Here.
Council Vice President Mike Wolski.
Here.
Councilmember Joe Seaver.
Here.
Councilmember Ed Lau.
Here.
Councilmember Anna P.
Here. All right, the consent agenda, claims register, I'm assuming you all had a chance to go through that. And also contained was the May 6th council minutes and the sanitary board minutes from April 1st. Does anybody have any questions?
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion. I have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Citizen comments? Okay, that was quick. Staff reports, chief. You brought some dollars with you today too.
I did. Nice to see their faces, isn't it? Warmer weather is bringing some solicitors out, so you guys might see them. If you do have problems with any of them, call non-emergency, get out faster to be able to address them. We have had some that we've had to deal with already, only once. Just make sure they have the proper permits. For this policy, if you or any of your neighbors are having issues. We do have a new officer hired and starting June 15th. Hopefully you'll meet him soon. Micah, our canine, official last shift was last night. So he's officially retired. I don't know if you've seen our social media, but he was honored down at the field house. And that was nice. The Pacers organization and the Fever team, they were able to get him out there and he had his big moment. It was pretty cool to see that, so it was nice. So his last detail will be the 500 race this weekend, and that he'll go out with a big bang, so that was nice. New dog will be here next week, and we'll go pick her up, and hopefully you'll get an introduction in June.
Officer that we hired, lateral that we had.
Unfortunately, he is not a lateral. He is currently with Marion County, but he is a building deputy, and so he will have to go to the academy.
How long will we need it?
Not until January, we're just taking the January class. With the new agility testing, the way they do things now is different, so.
Yes, practically.
Yeah, and they start the testing on that June 15th. Yeah, so.
What's our plan with it, then get it to the FTO before?
We're gonna do the 40-hour pre-basic, get him through the FTO, and then get him rolling on the road, and then get him in the academy, and then bring him back out. We're good to go.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions of Chief Woodland? Mr. Lips.
I met with a developer recently that's putting together a pro forma for the CDC property. They have some other mixed-use developments in the area, so they're putting one together for Class A multifamily mixed use, which would be nice if it pencils out. The North Buck Creek Roadhouse, we had listed through the CDC, went through that. Brett and I talked about it. We got an offer on that. We'll probably end up closing on that this week. Be sold at a profit from what we bought it in. It's been sitting empty for a while, so it's not in the greatest of conditions. So we took that into account looking at that property. The Foursquares RFP that CDC put out, we got some good responses on that. One interested parties is looking at potentially doing a somewhat of an incubation space, and they're playing well with the Arts District initiatives they put in the Ready Grant. Would be participating in that kind of theme and vision. So it's exciting seeing that move forward. That group actually seems really interested in it, and they've done a lot of adaptive reuse projects and larger scale than this, so I think they'd be able to do it pretty easily. The Planning Commission's going to have some cases coming up. They have the DPR coming for next chapter neighborhoods. Is the rezone for, that's not on this upcoming one, but plat is coming for Lansing Woods north. So they'll probably have some people at that meeting, but because it's an DPR planning, it's ministerial, so there's not really any kind of public hearing or comment on that, but there has been some stir on social media from the same kind of group that was out before when I went through zoning. There's really been a lot going on, so if you guys have questions on any of the other reports or things, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do I have any questions for them or the staff report information provided or schedule?
I'll add in on the home demolitions that we're looking at, we're putting those out for quotes with a couple of excavation companies. Christine has noticed the one that's past their time frame that we're going to move in and demo it. Sounds like they have pricing, but it doesn't seem like they have the means to demo it, which was our fear, so we'll likely proceed with having to demo that and leave the property.
On Cumberland Village and Cumberland Heights?
So we'll have two unsafe that will come back before the council to consider, and then,
Next time?
if we have them back there.
We
Next
hope
time.
to have, we hope to have the 3 quotes in there. It's out right now, but we're trying to get 3 quotes.
Is that the Buck Creek Roadhouse too?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And we may have an alternative plan for that, but I haven't heard back from that person.
I have talked to them, they want to use the interior for training, but not yet they did. So,
Is that gonna be okay?
yeah, it's fine, but,
We'll still have to take it down.
yeah, still have to demo. So, Buck Creek Fire is interested in using Buck Creek House for training for stuff, but with the location, they're not comfortable with doing a control burn, so.
Your friend's coming in full. Anything else?
Not this time.
Old business, golf cart ordinance, 2026-05. I assume there's been no changes from last meeting?
That is correct. So, did introduce it at the last meeting. It's the exact same, and when we had that conversation, didn't get feedback for changes, so asking for consideration to pass that ordinance, go to educational period. Like I said, we've got a lot of complaints, predominantly complaints about River Farms, golf carts, a lot of underage kids driving, and also new drivers, so you have young kids flying in cars, with even younger kids driving golf carts on the roadway. Just have some fears and concerns there.
Is there any questions on the ordinance that kind of listed the requirements that we're looking for in golf carts, things along that nature? Is there any questions?
I was at the Glenelg Village Homeowners Association last night meeting, and they really liked it.
Okay, good.
If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Ordinance 2026-05 as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion, a second, any additional consideration or discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion off for ordinance.
Thank you.
New business, consideration of Verkada.
This is kind of a collaboration for all of us, this is a town.
She blaming others, excellent.
It's a town necessity, so we've all kind of worked together on this about it. Last December, we did have a camera come out and have it installed right by Subway and supposed to use it for Rhinox Smart, but since it got moved, we were able to utilize that, and test it out. Obviously, we have some issues with some security around the building and trying to be careful recording, so we don't have stuff mentioned that should not be mentioned, but there is some things that weren't addressed when we had things installed about 2018, 19-ish, that we definitely need to update. We need to have some things in place that we never had in place. A lot of the things in the memo that we provided to you, I don't know if any of you guys have read that yet, that came from us. So a lot of things that, what this is gonna do is address a lot of that. So I know it's a big bulk that we're biting into. I know there's a question about the contract. I I think we hammer that out, have that resolved.
Yeah, and I would apologize for how this is coming before you guys. It wouldn't have moved this way, but corporate has an escalator that they let us know about 3 weeks ago. That's 15% increase on licensing June 1st. We went back and forth with the contract and resolved that at 4 p.m. today. Their attorneys took our red lines initially, came back with a bunch of questions. Then we met with them at 4 p.m. today, and they just said, oh, it's fine, we'll accept everything you guys want, which they could have done a week ago, but.
And we talked about this yesterday at lunch. So the bulk of the contract was good that we had sent to us.
Well, they accepted most of our changes except for initially the arbitration and indemnification were the main ones that they said they wanted to come back on that we had concerns with. And then we waited, got this meeting with them at 4 p.m. today, and they agreed to pull arbitration out and take the indemnification out as well.
But then we got a second contract that was redlined at around 4:30.
Yeah, and that's,
And that was a little more close, but disregard that.
you're right, that one is not the final that you sent over. Caitlin sent that over because we weren't sure what was going to happen. I asked her to get you something out so you had an idea where it was so that we could explain the changes.
But now we have a
Final,
third version that we think is good.
that we know is good.
11 attorneys, okay, that
But,
we think is good.
yeah, but like I said, they stamped it and they just told Jewel and Christine at 4 p.m. to write it how they wanted it and they were good with it, so.
Which should have been done by them.
A week ago, yeah, correct.
I get it, you just don't have, you don't have this last minute stuff, just.
I know it
And I think I'm speaking to my fellow council members, they want a chance to evaluate it also, rather than say, here's a check, please sign it.
And that's why I said that this would not be before you, but for that cost escalator.
I get it. How much is that contract for? I mean, we're talking about $10,000. We're already having the price tag here.
Oh, I know, it's very accurate.
And we're talking about 10 years, correct?
Is it around 10 years?
In 10 years, licensing, one-time cost.
There's no monthly fee.
There's no monthly, there's no subscription. It's the upfront cost for all the equipment and licensing for that 10-year period on there. So that's one of the questions when we met with them that we made sure to clarify.
I know indemnification was an issue, I know arbitration versus mediation was an issue. What questions do my fellow councilors have? I know this is extremely short notice.
The difference between 5 years and 10 years. Explain that to me.
The price is a little bit less with the 10-year versus the 5-year. The 10-year makes sense because the cost is so close, because we own the equipment, but the equipment's no good without the licensing. And about 10 years, 5 to 10 years is gonna be useful life. We think 10 years is gonna be that line. So if we're gonna be at a little bit of lower rate and have the equipment, it maximizes our time to utilize that equipment. Once it's unlicensed, it's essentially no good, but we figure 10 years is pretty well depreciated and not that good at that point anyways.
The other
second
question I
thing,
asked was on why one bid. Apparently it's proprietary information, so it doesn't transfer to itself, so this is kind of where you're bailing.
Yeah, and
That's why we only have one bid from one company.
it's the sole provider notices in the packet. And it's because they're sole source on their technology with the AI tracking and identification. It's a lot more intense than a lot of things because it doesn't just identify plates, it identifies vehicles, it identifies individuals, it tracks individuals through the town. So,
On page 2 of our memo, it does have the breakdown in the very last paragraph of what the 5-year upfront cost would be and the 10-year upfront cost.
and all the cost and everything, it's literally just, unfortunately, the contract couldn't be in there, but all the other breakdown
Yeah.
was was in the packet Friday.
Are the attorneys satisfied with the indemnification and mediation versus arbitration terms and the other changes that have been made?
Yeah, so they pretty much caved on everything that we had asked. We met in the middle. They wanted arbitration, and we said no. They wanted arbitration in California. We said no to both place and the idea of arbitration. But we don't have a problem with having a pre-litigation requirement to mediate. And
That's not binding.
That is not binding, correct. So we're fine with that.
What are the questions my fellow councilors have?
So the cost of the equipment and the license, and then plus, the basic installation, are two separate amounts.
That's correct.
So it would be 189,265, 62 plus 54,506.87.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Sounds correct.
Yeah. I didn't have that, I could.
Is this expandable over the 10 years? Can we add more equipment, cameras, devices to this? So we can grow with it, I get two answers.
Not on that licensing, we can phase things in, and everyone has questions as well. But if you add more in, it would come in under a new license, under the cost escalated price.
Okay, so this package, so this package here is gonna last us for 2 or 3 years before we're gonna have to do something, some sort of upgrade because things change.
Right, well, the idea too would be, I'm sure, in the future phases where you want more in your parks, more in your roadways, so you're tracking people through downtown, through parks, through the trails, because it will track people, even show like their walking path, exactly where they went, and all the way through. So, you can search for person, red shirt, dog, and it'll pull up everyone that's been through every part of the system. It identifies drivers of vehicles, vehicle make, model, colors, and license plates. So there's a lot more than what you can do in other systems, which is why it's proprietary, because they're the only ones doing it right now.
So the extra cameras that we already have,
There's a command connector is what they call it. It's in the pricing. It takes our existing system and it runs it into their analytics. We checked all the cameras that we have. All our equipment is compatible with that command connector that runs it through their software. It's a little bit less versatile, but it still gives us the bulk of the program on their existing cameras.
okay, and that's part of the installation also, I'm assuming.
That's correct.
What are the questions that we have? This is a pretty pricey thing. Where's the budget at?
It would be an additional appropriation out of the general fund property taxes, so it would come from your excess reserves.
Is it replacing any system or feed? Or is it just
Some of the door controllers would be replaced, that would be more of the replacement portion. We got that system from Nine Star that has been problematic. We had that credit from the sale of the utility. Be adding additional key readers too, so that people can't go in and out of certain areas. These exit signs would come down in here and be key readers from the public's in here that can't enter the rest of the facility without that being unlocked. Offices would be tracked, things like that.
And do we pay NiStar monthly?
We have them for phones and stuff. We have a cost for the cloud management, but I don't know if that's broken down on the monthly or I think it is broken down on the monthly. So,
Yeah, we pay for internet.
yeah, internet phones and the door administration. So it's also every time they come out, $400 minimum charge. which is their highest network of ranges.
Any other questions? Joe, you good?
Yeah, I suppose. So the CD device or install?
Yeah.
That's just all new equipment, or is that?
That's new equipment and connecting the old that we're utilizing with the command connector is putting all that, all of the package through that.
And you want to add, you're the expert on this stuff, or closest. A lot closer than we are.
I've installed it. I mean, it's priced for a reason, it's the best. And I've installed other systems that are a third of the cost, if they don't do Apple and for Patrick to do.
If you compare what we have now and what this is, you see that we are exposed to a lot of overcrowds.
And I don't want to guess on that, I was
Right.
thinking that.
Right, but this is,
Over time, it would reduce some of our monthly subscription on other equipment too, not just door administration, but some of our other reading systems within our infrastructure. It wouldn't be immediate, there's some changes that need to happen. We can talk about that separately, I don't want to go,
Again, over me, right, correct, I agree.
but it's over time, there's relatively hefty subscription with one of our other programs that wouldn't go away entirely, but could be significantly reduced.
So do we pay them after they get it all installed, or do they want the money up front, so the upfront cost, like?
The install portion would be afterwards, the equipment's up front because you're purchasing the equipment to
Okay.
be installed. So,
Okay.
We did the motion, you okay with signature? I didn't do it.
I'm okay with signing
Does this asset control include the buildings in the back here, the wastewater treatment plant?
this. It includes, I think, the gate for the wastewater treatment plant and the back building where we have the existing readers, so it will be on, well, I think they do have readers on the lab too.
In person.
That's everybody's questions on this. Anybody else have any questions regarding this? I'll make sure everybody's questions are satisfied. Sure, good, came up with that one. Yeah.
It's a big dollar sign.
It is a big one, yes, sir.
It is, but it's,
Unfortunately,
it's necessary. It's just what the world we live in.
yes, that's 100% accurate. Any good?
Yeah.
Oh, good as can be.
Yeah. Good.
All right, I'll accept the motion.
Okay, I guess I'll make a motion. That we accept the, purchase and installation of the, is it for Kata?
Yep.
Equipment, I believe the total amount is $243,772.49, if I did that right on my calculator.
Yes, and I would maybe just add in with the install from New City IT, just to,
Oh, yeah, okay.
like you did that with your number, but
Okay,
just.
yeah, okay, so, I'll amend my motion, so the $189,265.62 is for the cameras, the access control, the alarms, and then the installation is $54,506.87.
With Ben's authority to sign. Ben's authority to sign.
Yeah, with Ben's authority to sign.
I'll second the motion.
Have a motion and a second, any additional discussion? All those in favor of the Verkada contract, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The latest version of the contract, I should say.
Final.
Mike, second.
Yes. Chief, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna make a motion that, the consideration of office board furniture be moved to our next meeting in June. I'll take a second.
Okay,
I have a motion and a second, additional discussion, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, we'll move that to the next meeting, I think there's some more research to be done on that. Consideration of the HWC UDO proposal.
Unfortunately, I'm here asking for a big chunk of change as well. There's a memo in your packets this evening on this. This is a proposal to update our unified development ordinances. So this is our zoning ordinance, our subdivision control ordinances. This is all of our ordinances that guide development as it comes into town. And so, the trend right now is instead of those being two separate documents, they're merged into one called the Unified Development Ordinance. That's what UDO is, just a reminder. There's several factors that really have led us to bring this to you now. Initially, we had hoped to be able to wait until the comprehensive plan is done to bring up the topic of updating our ordinances. That's typically how they're done, so you make sure that they're in line with your comprehensive plan. But there's several things kind of going on that are moving this to a higher priority at this point. Prior to January 1 of 27, we have the excluded city portion of Marion County coming into play. As we've gone through our ordinances and looked to just take our Hancock County ordinances and apply those in Marion County, would essentially make every property in Marion County legal non-conforming, which really opens us up to some inverse taking problems. And so we're going to have to take the Marion County, Indianapolis rules and figure out how to merge those and create a whole set of standards that are essentially for the Marion County properties. And that has to happen by the end of this year. On top of that, as you know, House Bill 1001 is asking communities to audit our UDOs to create more housing and expedite our processes. There's some hearings and reportings we have to do in anticipation of those things. There's probably going to be some amendments we may want to make, particularly this year, to some of our processes. And then down the road into next year, there may be other amendments that need to happen. It's really a trend that is happening not just at the state level, but today there was also the road to housing passed at Congress. They're still figuring out which version the president's assigned, but it's coming now from the federal level as well. More and more pressure to reevaluate our ordinances, look toward potential deregulations, more efficient processes, and that. So this is just a trend we're going to continue to monitor, and I think we're going to have to stay in tune. It's going to continue to change on us, but where we're at today, we're probably not in the best position. Our ordinances were last adopted in 2002. We have amended them a lot over the last 18 years since I've been here to try to keep them as relevant as possible, but they are not really consistent, especially in the residential sections and in our commercial. They're really not in line with what the market is building today, and that's creating, that's why we see so many PUDs coming before us, because our ordinances really aren't set up for kind of the modern development trends that are happening right now. So taking all of this into account, and that things coming down the pike, knowing that we're going to need to do this anyways once the comprehensive plan is done, we have sought proposals for 3 different firms to do kind of a 2-phase process with this. One is kind of those urgent changes that need to happen by the end of the year, primarily the UDO process and processing. And then a completely new kind of UDO that focuses on design and implementing design elements into our ordinances to make sure that we're trying to be true to our community wants us to be ensuring in development. And how we balance that with the directives we're being given, you know, from other levels as well, but to try to manage those things. So this would be about a 1.5-year process to do this. The 3 firms are listed there. Staff is recommending HWC with an amount not to exceed $149,665. Subject to tax review of the contract, I received that last Thursday. You have the proposal in your packet, and then also the draft contract. Received that Thursday, and then I unfortunately been out of town, so I haven't had a chance to follow up with them like I normally would. But we recommend HWC. We looked at their ordinances. They're easy to use. They're very user-friendly in other communities, what they've done in other communities. We've worked with members of kind of all 3 teams. HWC's done some on-call planning work, so their team is Brian Stone and Oksana, who have worked with the Planning Commission and council, so they're actually very familiar with our ordinances, some of our issues that we have with the ordinances, and they also, I think, have a feel for the community's expectations and the Planning Commission and council's expectations. And so that's why we are recommending moving forward, if you wish, with HWC. That is a lot. There's even more in that memo, and there's a lot in the proposal and the contract. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thanks for the memo. I did read it, it clarified some points. Page 3 of the contract towards the bottom. I've got a huge issue with client hereby acknowledges that due to the status of the document as instruments of professional service, the value associated therewith, such designations that HWC is entitled to enforce the prohibition against misuse of the documents. It goes on, I will keep reading. It doesn't define what they consider to be misuse, doesn't define penalties. This is way too vague for asking us for almost $150,000.
Yeah, I think that's why asking for pending legal approval and coming back. I would want that whole section reworked too, because it referenced them having ownership with our policy that anything that we're paying for, we own the ultimate documents. They want to have control over that. So I want basically that whole section to be gone.
I agree with that, and that's what we've done with other planning documents, is that the town, we're paying for it, we're the owner of that. And those sections are usually edited, and our attorneys usually ask for those. Also, some of the payment language probably needs to be looked at as well, just to make sure that they're not trying to put interest on.
So is this case made tonight, or we need to come back on this?
If you are comfortable or kind of comfortable, I would like for it to be considered this evening pending legal review on that contract to make sure that all of the concerns get addressed. Because we are on such a tight timeline, and I don't want vacation next week.
You could also
We just on vacation last week. I got you out of office. How much vacation time do you give around here?
2
Because of
months.
that.
Less than benefits.
Brett, you could also, that's true.
Less than bid. I like that.
If the council were comfortable with it, the motion would be pending legal town manager and council president approval. So you, myself, and the attorneys could have final review and say before that was executed.
All right, fellow councilors, with that,
I'm good. I definitely understand time is of the essence with this.
especially with, coming out of you.
And I think with the comp plan, do we not have to have our ordinances done also, or some of them?
So that came out, but we have to do an audit of all of our ordinances and hold a public hearing on that. And that's gonna need to happen in late summer, early fall. So all of this is kind of playing into each other and has a lot of time pressure on us. I don't like coming to you guys anywhere and we do it tonight, but it's kind of unfortunate that we're gonna do it.
You do it. Hold it, just do that. What are the questions we have on this?
We're ready for a motion?
If nobody else has any questions, I'm just gonna wait and see if anybody else has more discussion or questions they have on it. You guys okay?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the proposal, with HWC, to, redo our ordinances in the amount of $149,666 contingent on, our legal approval and Ben and, council president, Brad.
Second.
No payments till this is done.
No,
They
no
can't
signature.
even start it until we have a sign.
I just wanna make sure we're clear.
Yep.
Nobody's going on some sure.
Yeah, no signature until final approval. so.
Okay. I got, go ahead.
Is this in funds budget?
So I think this is probably an additional appropriation. We had hoped to be able to do this next year and make some minor changes in our ordinances for the Marion County stuff internally, and it just, unfortunately, is
Once it got to that legal non-conforming concern, it's kind of pushed us that way. And we think the housing language is likely to change next session. Brett Miller, I know, is working on it, has different task force forming to do that. I've been asked to consult with him as the city and town person for that bill. But he also says he won't allow any of the stakeholders to meet together with him. He will only meet individually, so I think that's a good sign. But,
Guys all have to get together.
well, we're also trying to figure out who the other people are.
I was gonna say blind draw.
Yeah.
And some of them are builders, Backy, Mybor, the Yigby group. Like, there's pulling stakeholders from each. There's gonna be a county representative too, so.
So Eric, what's the general fund balance prior to pulling out on this $400,000?
Just a second, it's still,
Healthy?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, I have a motion to second, any additional discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? You mind? You blended in with Harmony. Five otherwise have it.
Barbershop board's in.
Thank you
Five
so
otherwise
much.
have it. You bet. Where's the barbershop? Sorry, it was an expensive night and we had some contract issues that just, want me to use it. Yes. Any other new business, please say no.
Yes, sir.
Sir?
On this last topic,
Yes, sir.
it's something else I just noticed as I was going through the pages. The lowest person on the feedback for the company makes more than probably anyone sitting in this room.
Yeah, I noticed you talking about the hourly rate.
That's an intern.
Talking about the hourly rate.
Yeah, that's an intern. Wait a minute, that's $400.
I guarantee you that intern's not taking that home.
No, he does a lot of overhead there, I'm sure. Yeah, I noticed that last night, I was going through it. And it's a husband and wife team, I assume.
So yes, they're husband and wife. She's technically with a different firm as these that subs.
Absolutely.
The HWC itself is a very large firm.
The general fund balance right now is $2,400,000, and we have all of the June property tax coming, at the end of June. So this is kind of our lowest balance throughout the year, what we have right now. But we also have $500,000 in the cumulative fund, and we've got almost $500,000 in the economic development, the seeded fund, I don't know that any of this would go towards that, but our cash overall is still pretty healthy.
Does that reflect our investments with custody and?
Yes, yeah, that's the general fund. Our general fund bank account is much higher than that. That's how much cash we have in just the general fund. So that the general fund bank account includes the parks and all the other non-utility funds.
That's been good management over the years, so yeah.
Yeah, I would say, I estimate that's probably around 10 million, and that's for all the other funds.
All right, council comment.
Okay.
Is there a master to-do list for the Marion County coming into the town, the old water Cumberland? I know this is part of the list, but is there another list? I mean, there's trash pickup and everything else that has to be in place. I'm assuming January 1st, so is there a list, does somebody own that list?
Yes, there's a list. There's that, we're trying to figure out the code enforcement approach for the beginning of the year, because we want to hit that hard. The trash pickup is kind of the main one. We have that RFP put together. Just got to put in the numbers and the actual housing to dial it in. But we do have that. We are trying to figure out still with that though, the Marion County contract that is in place is a new contract that the city pulled for that Marion County is still included in. So trying to get with the city, but may end up having to go to chief of staff or something because I'm not getting huge amount of
I
response.
have his number.
That's what I'm pretty sure a few people in this room know the chief of staff. But we are trying to figure out how that dynamics kind of work on the existing contract, because they just signed a 3-year last year.
I'll be happy that's done, because that's 6 people's houses on January 1st, I'll be out to say we got it done.
Yeah. So
Remember one thing.
what's interesting right now is, I saw earlier, because Greenfield's evaluating the same thing, and there's angry posts online about it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really popular up there.
yeah, it's like,
Yes.
as a buying company, like your bill should be going up. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe there's a bunch of people burning trash.
I had a bunch of them call from Manny.
Never try to sneak out.
They thought it was gonna pay us, but we didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
With trash pickup, depending on who we would go with, I know like Waste Management, they will only pick it up with dumpsters. You know, like, they won't get out and dump.
One person truck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and, I think, isn't that what Indianapolis contract with them?
Yeah.
Okay, so that-
There, is it waste management now?
No, somebody else got it.
Public?
No, these, it's a newer track.
Yeah, it's like,
It's picking up.
Yeah, so,
Mine.
well, from past experience, the business that I had, the trash company was bought out by Waste Management, and they were 6 weeks to get the dumpsters,
yeah.
and they just charged me to pick up trash, and there was a few people that had dumpsters, their trash got picked up, and nobody else's did, and it was a nightmare.
No, dumpster totes.
Totally.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
it would have to probably be set up in the scope in a way that it picked up after that was done, but it will be a bid, so you guys would be obligated to a little bit or the way it's set
Yeah.
up, so.
I was just the, you know.
It's a good call.
mind, but,
When Waste Management bought out Ray's, they did away with the Ray's contracts.
Yeah, that's
Eventually,
what I
they
had
required
with
2
Ray's.
people on the truck.
Yeah,
They
that's,
only went to contracts, so it was 1 person on the truck. That's Waste Management's business.
right, and I had raised,
Also,
and
been
it
looking
tripled
into
my bill.
if there's ways to sign on to Indianapolis through some kind of agreement with them, or
Piggyback off their contract.
potentially something with McCordsville as well, just to increase buying power, or just to even get through the Marion County's existing contract period and seeing what options there are there.
So are we gonna put this on everyone's taxes,
It would likely,
The
part of the
sewer bill?
utility bill, yeah, was sewer and stormwater. So, but again, some of that, figuring out what Marion County is, Marion County it is on taxes currently.
Yeah.
So, that's on their tax bill, so that would be a change for Marion County residents if it goes to the utility bill. So,
Okay, I have something for Everett. There's still, a lot of parts of the sidewalk in Glen Oaks Village that are really bad. So, I mean, I could go around and tell you which, where it's at, but you really just need to walk it all. It's especially bad on Derbyshire where it connects into Grant's Corner. It's just crumbling.
get that taken care of. Additionally, kind of to that note, we are having a proposal put together to update the ADA transition plan, so we can update all the sidewalks in town.
Okay.
The re-rating and have them in GIS so that we can continue moving that plan forward. We did most of the diamond grinding that's possible in town, which was the low-hanging fruit, so now it's like the past several years, that panel replacement, and trying to do that about $50,000 to $60,000 a year on that, so.
Okay.
We need to update that.
Well, if nothing else, you can get the worst of the worst as soon as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
But we use a similar system as we do like our road rating for Pazer with sidewalks, so it's all classified by that. So it gives you a map of all the worst areas in town, but something like this is something we could go out and, like you said, take a look and get quoted now, because it's gonna take time for that plan.
okay, and I have one more thing, for our legal counsel. I was asked, the homeowners association asked me this. It's kind of complicated. So the front entrance of Glen Oaks Village is supposedly still owned by the town. The homeowners association has been maintaining it from day one. And then there's a circle in the cul-de-sac that's supposedly still owned by the town. It is not a mandatory HOA, and it's divided up into sections. And what they're wanting to do is have common ground, so they can redo the covenant, so they have more control. And so, the cul-de-sac is in section 5, but the entrance, I think is for everybody, so I don't know. I mean, originally, a long time ago, the town said, oh, we'll just sell it to the HOA for $1, but
I've never seen any dedication to the town of like the common area of like that roundabout or that, so we'd have to we'd have to research that a little bit, because
yeah.
like I've never actually seen that in our documentation for Glen Oaks Village.
Yeah, I mean, this came up numerous times.
Let's pull the flats and some of the stuff, the rules would have been different then than how things are done now, but
Yeah,
let's,
it's like-
let us
that's what I
do
was
some
thinking.
homework to see kind of.
Yeah, and I told them they're gonna have to have their own legal counsel, also. But from the town standpoint, anyway.
Yeah, it should be easy to, like, if they're wanting to take that in and review covenants and things like that, to do that. But we need to research that on our end to see if we actually have documentation of that being dedicated to the town, because I've never seen that. And we've looked at the plat plans numerous times, and it doesn't look like it's platted the way that they're
Okay,
discussing.
so if it's not dedicated to the town, then,
Well, so lots of times it's a public right of way, but the documents will say that it's HOAs to maintain
okay,
those areas as common area, so even if it's not designated common area, even though it's public right of way, it's typically the HOA's responsibility. So we just need to go and look at
okay,
the documents from that time and the dedications and commitments and all those things. Because even over at Parkview where there's some of that,
yeah,
nowadays we haven't put it in common areas because it's cleaner, but it's still technically within the public right.
That's how it is in Cobblefield and Joe's district, because every cul-de-sac has kind of that Saturday concrete area with the light and stuff, so.
Cumberland had sun, and there's a lot of places where.
Those that got knocked down.
Yeah, I don't know if that was in.
It was a storm, like with just some deterioration, they reached out. So they want you guys to pay for it, so.
That and sewer mains.
Sidewalks.
On 700 across from Oak Boulevard South Drive, there's a water box in the road that does not have a lid on it, and it's also
Yeah.
down, it's sunk
Yeah.
deeper than it needs to be for a
Yeah.
road to go.
Yeah, we've reported that to the utility, we'll push them again on that. It is, like I said, the actual water, keep it
Yeah.
on the road.
Yeah.
Follow up on that again,
Do we
yeah.
know any more about the sewer smell?
We're pretty sure, we'll talk about after the, yeah, I'll update you.
Any other council comments? Eric, any other council, anything inside? All right. Future agenda items.
You guys are gonna have, the ordinance coming back to you from your last meeting for financial policies. I think you're gonna have,
The office furniture probably should be coming back.
the office furniture, assuming they get those, reuse, resale moves in time. Hoping to get some kind of agreement for that, ADA transition plan update, we met about that a few weeks ago. The demolition of the office.
It would be my recommendation on the office furniture, if we buy used cubicles, do not buy used chairs, buy new chairs. So,
We like that recommendation as well.
I just trust me, it'll save a lot of time and trouble.
Most employees will probably keep the chair they already use.
And we also, I think we have a meeting coming up soon with Councilor P. We're looking at, talking with, looking at some of the landscaping stuff.
Okay, take a motion to adjourn, and we'll, our town clerk, Parsley. First and a second. And then it's like 7:45, and what's that?
7:53.
Well, we're good start.
Yeah, we're good to start. She's gonna change over the live screen to the